Hello and welcome back to the channel. Andy here, and welcome to Porsche Month, a brand new series to the channel. You might remember last year when I was doing my classic cars in Motorsport series, predominantly around F1 cars. Well, this is something in a similar vein. The only difference being is that each month will be dedicated towards either a particular manufacturer, maybe a particular race, or a particular car type as we go through the months. And we're starting with Porsche. April is their birthday month. Last year they celebrated their 70th anniversary as well. And we're going to start by probably looking at one of the most iconic cars in history, which is the 911, specifically this car, the 1973 Porsche 911 Carrera RSR 2.8 litre flat 6 5-speed gearbox, almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution as well, rear engined. And this is, Porsche 911's been racing for a long time, been doing rallies and everything before, but when they got into the early 70s they'd made X amount of them. I think it was like 1,500, so they could be accepted into Group 4 racing at the time in the early 70s. And it went on and won multiple events. We're talking things like Daytona 24 Hours, Le Mans 24 Hours, Targa Florio, dominated European GT racing in the early 70s as well. Obviously spawned many spin-offs of the car as well. You can think of things like, the Dakar entry, I think it was the 989, in the 80s, all sorts of things. They went rallying, they went GT racing, they used them in touring cars, used them in everything, and even still use them now, of course. We see the 911 GT3 and the 911 GTE that races at Le Mans in the GTE class. The GT3 is a car I race on Apex Online Racing's GT3 League, a car I actually really love. It's so well balanced in my opinion. But I thought we would start off with this iconic car when looking at an iconic manufacturer like Porsche. And what we're going to be doing through the months is we're going to be taking each car on a hot lap of the Nürburgring. Yes, that tried and tested YouTube special of hot lapping the Nordschlife in a car, made famous by some other YouTubers who I won't name, but I'm sure you very well know them very well. You probably sub to them as well if you're watching this. But that's the idea through the months, through the weeks, that we're going to just see how quick each car is through the times. And we're going to start off with the 911 Carrera RSR 2.8, and let's get on to the green hill and let's see just how much of a hassle it gives me around its 12 and odd mile track. Let's get to the track and see what we can do in the Carrera RSR. So here we are in the Carrera RSR, ready to start our hot lap of the Nordschleife, the green hell. 13 miles of pure joy. I say that sarcastically. I've got not the greatest relationship with the Nordschleife. Plan is through these series to be doing it in a default setup. The only adjustment I've made on this car is to the steering ratio, just to make it a bit more preferable to me. Quite understeery, I've noticed as well at times. I'm going to have to get used to that, and there's certain parts of this track where I am absolutely shocking, and you'll probably notice it where I struggle. But let's see what we can do. Target is not that world record 5:59, that is from a GT1 car. I'm not going to get anywhere near to that. I'm hoping to get under 8 minutes as the target, so let's get underway. Head up to the end of the lap. That's going to be a tricky braking zone next time by. Nicely into the final corner, put the beans down, 300 horsepower through the rear wheels, and across the line, hard on the brakes, straight away for turn 1. And you can see just how the understeer just doesn't want to kick in properly. It just doesn't want me to turn in sometimes, but Now just coming up through the gears, up to 4th gear, just getting a bit of a slide on there, just have to hesitate slightly before I could go up, and then early on the brakes here, because it twitches and darts about, just missing the wall there, you can see, on the left hand side, and I just want to clip the curbs ever so gently, not too much, and then just get the car turned in as best as I possibly can. Back end wants to step out there, just caught the curb in with the right front wheels, we head up towards the flood flats. Won't be getting any airtime in this car, thank goodness for that, but you'll see it just drop onto its nose after we go over, there you go. And it's going to lift off through this first part here just to help get the nose of the car in, catching that curb, don't want to be doing that too much. These curbs will absolutely kill you around this track, and in this car as we head up to 5th gear, down through one of the fastest parts of the track. Now this is a tricky corner as well, a little left-hander over a bare bump as well, you can see I'm having to, oh goodness me, had to fight the car massively there, and then just couldn't get in the brakes early enough as I wanted for the right-hander. We're still pointing in the right direction, all 4 wheels in the wagon at the moment, thank goodness for that. Heading down through this sort of alleyway section, absolutely frightening speeds I can imagine. Now we're getting the brakes early here, this corner just over the rise in that crest, just catches you out a few times, and this is a tricky part here that you're just going to get, just have to tiptoe around almost. You can see I've completely messed up the turn in there, absolutely horrible apex into the left-hander, but we got through it, we're through sector 1 just about now. Thank goodness for that, there we go, it only took me 2 minutes 2 seconds. I've got a double left-hander here, first part, you see the car going light again just over that initial part, and just down into 2nd gear, get it turned into the apex. Car just wants to break loose on me at every opportunity, and we're going to come down to 2nd gear again, just jumping down the gear a bit too early there. I would have preferred to have waited a little bit longer before dropping down that gear, and through this quick wee bit here, just got to be careful on the entry. I'm just going to take it easy round here because I had a number of spins through this part while doing some practice laps, and this is a tricky corner here. You see me just jostling away with the steering wheel under brake, and we'll get down to 1st gear just to get it really slowed down and back up through the gears again. Somehow still pointing in the right direction at the moment. We're coming up to the fastest part of the track in a moment's time. Down to 2nd gear, and could have been a bit quicker through there, not as quick as I would have liked. Just up this uphill bit as well, just really tricky. And on the power now, we've got one more slightly tight turn before we have a bit of a breather. Coming through one of the faster parts at the top end of the track, we've got this next right-hander up here. Just want to get the brakes about that sign there on the right-hand side, and it's so deceptive on the way in. You can go in so much quicker, but then it tightens up. It's like a double apex almost. It's such a tricky wee corner to get right, but now we're pretty much going through the trees. No need to lift off at the moment, completely flat to the floor. We need all 300 horsepower of this thing to take us up the hill, because this is an uphill climb as well from one of the lower parts of the track. So you're now heading up to one of the higher parts as well, and just coming over the rise here. And there's a left-hander coming up in a moment, which is so easy to get wrong. I'm just going to take it a little bit more gingerly than normal, get it down, make sure to get it into the corner without any problems at all, and then through this little right hand kink over the crest. The car just wants to bite clean from me, and then we're down the gears into 2nd. We're coming up to the famous carousel corner in just a moment's time. Fangio used to say you aim for the highest pine tree for your turning point. Just want to get it lined up nicely into the concrete, down to 2nd, just keep it nice and tidy. You see, didn't get it right though, the car just popped out the top there, and that's not what you want to be doing there. I lost about half a second to a second probably doing that, and now we're out of there at least, and we're coming up through the hills, just a little bit easy through there. This is a tricky section. I always usually make mistakes through here, so if I go a bit quiet, I'm concentrating so much not to, oh there we go, nearly did. Managed to hold on to that one there, a rear end just stepped out under braking into the right-hander. There it goes again, it just wants to do so much through this section. You just feel that you just can't get on the power the way you want to do. It's so tricky to get it right. This corner's a lot tighter than I always anticipate, and then when I get it right, it feels like I could have gone a lot quicker, down the gear a bit too quick there into second. Second's just geared not in the right place really for some of these corners. This is a YouTube area where you see a lot of cars on YouTube videos, and this is a lot tighter in this car than I ever anticipated. But I managed to get through there without killing myself on this occasion. Car trying to step loose again on me there into the apex. Now we've got quite a fast run down to, I can't remember the name of it, it's named after a garden section or something. You just basically drop downhill here. Some of the cars you want to brake before that and then brake after it as well, but in this car you just brake after it instead, and then we're coming up the hill. Now we can get back on the power and keep it pinned as much as we can do for another wee moment, but we've got to basically thread the needle through this section. We've caught the grass, it has technically invalidated the lap time, but I'm going to carry on regardless, because I'm not too fussed about that. I'm doing this for fun. Oh, getting sliding through there down to third gear. I'm going to use the curb. I wish I didn't do that though. Exit curb there, second mini carousel. We're coming up to the end of the lap now. Oh, that was terrible as well. Not the greatest lap time for sure, but you know what, this place, I'm just happy to get round the lap time at the best of times. So through to the final section now. I'm just going to get this right as much as we can, and then on the power, and it's the long drag back to the start line. And it's going to be 7 minutes something. It's just a case of what time is it going to be. 7 minute what is the question. Let's have a wee check and see what can be done with the lap time. This is where it's just a case of keeping it steady, keeping it straight, keeping the speed. It's going to slow down a little bit over this bit of a rise, but then we come back down the other side and it's going to fly up to the speed. You can see it just dropped down there to about 144. Car struggling to batch any more revs, but here we go down the hill. We're going to plunge downhill now to the final couple of corners, and let's see what we can do coming up into here. Got to find the braking zone at the right point. Very tricky to do. Decided to brake a little bit earlier than normal, and then into the final couple of corners. Completely messed that one up. Terrible line through there, but somehow managed to get round. Coming round the line, it's going to be a better lap than I thought it was going to be. It is a 7 minute 40.6, and the invalidation is just from running off the track slightly, so I'm happy with that. Decent lap time, nice car, good to drive. Tricky little bugger though, oh goodness me. But that is it for this video. I will be back next week with another Porsche racing icon for another video of Porsche Month. If you do like what you've seen here this evening, do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, comment below what's your favourite Porsche racing car in history. Maybe you'll see it later on in the month. Until next time, my name is Andy, take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon. Ta-ra.